Hey there, Alistair here, back in the workshop again. What day is it? It is 4th of March, so we're 4 days into autumn, and the temperature is finally here in Perth sort of come down a little bit. I think we've still got a few hot days ahead of us, but it has actually come down to 27 degrees now, which is quite pleasant. I don't have to have the aircon on, I can have the door open, a bit of a warm breeze coming through, fantastic. Anyway, I think my first video that I did a few years back was like a bit of a walk around of my little workshop. So I thought I'd do like a bit more an updated one with a few of the bits of equipment that I've got that weren't in it on the first video, if that makes sense. And yeah, just have a quick look around. Probably the biggest, not I would say the biggest, but one of the biggest differences is the outside. So we'll just nip out there quickly and I'll show you the outside. Yeah, so the outside probably looks a little bit different to the first video. And as you can see, the first video I had just block work. I put the weatherboard cladding on the outside, built like a little wooden, I don't know what you call that, little wooden frame pergola, I don't know, something like that, for the wisteria to grow over, which is just come out in the sun a little bit. So yeah, the wisteria is going really well there. Hasn't flowered this year, so I'm going to hopefully wait for next spring when it starts to sort of come into life again. See what colour it actually is, because I think it's either white or lilac flowers. So yeah, it'll be like a bit of a surprise when that bursts into flower. Hope, fingers crossed, it does next year, but we'll see. Anyway, let's go back to the workshop. The biggest thing there, I used to have like a big load of shelves there full of junk. All that is now gone and it's into a shed, so I've actually got some space there, and I've put this bench here which is already filled up. The bandsaw, I normally put it underneath the bench just out the way, but I've been chopping up some blocks and stuff like that on there this morning, so, and screwing them up on the disc sander, so that's still out. But the biggest single item that I have purchased is this Rockwell hardness tester. So this piece of equipment has just absolutely transformed my like knife making journey. It's just made such a huge difference being able to test blades post heat treating and pre-tempering, so you've got an idea of where you're at, like exactly where you're at, and then you know how long you're going to temper them for to get them down to the like specific Rockwell hardness that you want to aim for. It's just fantastic, because before I used to take a few to an engineering shop, they would test them out, and then I'd kind of note down what I was doing, as in heat treating wise, temperature, time, this and that, and then try to replicate that. But with this, you can just kind of test it whenever you like, and you know where you're at. But yeah, as I say, I'm really privileged to be able to have bought one of those, which is probably the best thing that I've actually bought apart from the grinder. Just fantastic. What other name could you give it? Rocky, the Rockwell tester. Humour. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, this hang on, let me just zoom out a little bit. I had this little bandsaw for a while now, and when I was using it, the thing would not cut straight. Didn't matter how hard I tried, it would never cut straight. And then somebody said to me, have you changed the blade in it? And I hadn't changed it. It was the one that came with it, and to be honest, they probably shouldn't put them in there because they're that bad. Anyway, I changed the blade to one on, hang on a sec. So I changed the blade to a blade from this company, Carbide Tools. They're in Wangara here in Perth, and doesn't matter what size machine you've got, they can make up a blade. This is for the metal cutting bandsaw, so they can make up how many teeth per inch you want, the length of the belt, width of the belt, you name it, they can do it. So if you've got like an odd machine and you can't actually find a belt for it, give Carbide Tools in Wangara, if you're obviously you're in WA, give them a call and they'll be able to fix you up. So the blade was changed and now it cuts straight. It's pretty noisy because I think there's like a bearing going somewhere in it, but it does the job, cuts the blocks in half, which is all I need it to do really. So yeah, until that packs up, I'll be sticking with that. Over the back, we've got a stabilising tank there. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to. And inside, we've got some blocks in there. Now they were put in. I normally write the date on there, 10th of the 2nd, 24. So it's coming up for nearly a month. They were. I turned it off probably a week ago, so they had 3 weeks under vacuum. So now they're going to probably have about the same, another 3 weeks just soaking, and then hopefully they'll be nice and stabilised, nice and solid. Then I can cook them off and have some more blocks to use as handle material. So that is that pretty much that corner. We got the I had that on the first video. I think I just bought that actually on the first video. The other thing is the kiln, which I knocked up out of pieces of angle iron, some refractory bricks, some insulation, and in here eBay electrics. You've got the PID controller, and inside there there's a, if you can see it, that there, it's a solid state relay, little fan, some wires, and it works, which is a miracle. I've been using this now for probably, I don't know whether it's coming up for a year. Time goes quick. It might be a year actually, or it's well over 6 months anyway. I've been using it, and so far so good. It's working nicely. There's an interior shot. One of the elements in there is really looking a bit crumpled up, but I daren't touch it because as soon as you touch them, once it's been used a few times, as soon as you touch the element, it will just break. So I'm leaving that alone. Fingers crossed it kind of holds together for a while. If not, I've got to make up a new element. But anyway, back to the thingy. Down there we've got a thicknesser. Down there's a little box which I use for drying blocks. It's got like a little heat pad at the bottom. In the winter I put it on and it just, the heat is little shelves in there, and put the blocks in. It's lined with some zinc, what's it called, zinc sheeting, which is like aluminium but a bit cheaper. Lined with that to keep it insulated. We have got the dust extraction. There's probably a load more belts because I don't think I had they weren't there before last time, so they've got a load more belts there. Loads of old ones which I kid myself that I think I'm going to get more use out of, but you end up just hanging them there and never use them. I must throw some out actually. I do try and separate the stainless steel belts they use on, sorry, I'll rephrase that. The belts that I use on stainless steel, I do try and keep them separate. These are the carbon steel ones. So, because you can't, once you've used a belt on carbon steel, you can't use it on the stainless steel because it impregnates it with little bits of carbon steel, if that makes sense, and you end up getting kind of speckled rust, as I found out. Grinder, still in the same position. I did have a few questions on the grinder. What was it? What is it? It's a Radius Master, and I think they're over in Sydney, I think, it's New South Wales. But it is really good actually, because you can tilt it that way and it'll go that way and go back as well. So you've got plenty of different positions you can use it on, and all in all, a compact little machine which really works well. It fits the size of the workshop. The 2x72 would be too big for this workshop, so that's why I went with the smaller one there. It just fits in this workshop nice. I've got the water bucket there for cooling down. This little grinder I had years and years ago, and I didn't stop using it when I bought that one and put it under the bench. Forgot I had it, and then I actually found it again when I was clearing out over there when the shelving units was there, and so I thought I might as well just mount it on this little platform here, and I can use it for bits and pieces. Saves changing the belt on that one all the time. I can just go straight to that one. Aircon unit still going. I have to clean that filter out in there regular because it does really suck in some dirt when if you're doing something dusty in here and it's a hot day and you've got the door shut, so I have to make sure that that's kept clean. Steel, we have got quite a lot of different steels here. We've got Nitro V, 15N20 carbon steels, AEBL stainless steels. We've got some 12C27, 01, 1084, 1075, and 80 CRV2, which I don't know. There's some of it at the back underneath somewhere. But so yeah, I've got quite a big range of steels. I always trying to keep some in stock just in case the supplier runs out and you can't get it. So I like to have a few in stock. So the last thing you need is running out of the steel. So this bit here hasn't really changed much, to be honest. It's all the pins, drill bits, and I don't know, loads of junk up there. I've got to go through that. I've got a plastic plant there. I don't know why I've got that. I must go through there. The old GMC drill press finally gave up on me. It did well. It lasted a fair old time. So this one I picked up on what do they call it on Facebook, Marketplace. Just a second-hand one. The guy had it. I think he used it a few times, and then it was just surplus to his requirements. So I picked it up really cheap. It was like a big pedestal one, and I chopped it down and then mounted it on the bench, so it's a little bit easier to use. I haven't really got the floor space to kind of mount it. So that's doing really well. Put the keyless chuck on there, which was a big improvement on the key one, because you can just undo it with two hands. You don't have to worry about a chuck key. Golf ball on the thingy, because I found this little knob here. If you're drilling lots of holes, tended to dig into the palm of your hand, so the golf ball is a little bit bigger, nice and comfy. And we've got golf balls on files. We've got golf balls on the gym pin file, which is for putting little grooves on the spine of a knife, like thumb grip. But golf balls are perfect for that. Drill a hole, bang your handle on, and you don't stab yourself. So if you can see any golf balls laying around on the floor, pick them up. So we've got more junk, and more junk. I need to go through this. It's like, but as you know, if you've got a workshop yourself or a shed or garage with shelves, you just tend to keep poking things in any spot, and you never really get that time to sort of go through it all. But I must go through all that because it's just getting ridiculous. But I know where everything is. This is the epoxy resin that I use, 2-part epoxy resin, G-Flex by West Systems, really good stuff. And just some clamps there, and I think they were all there before. Some leather working tools, bits and pieces. And coming around, lastly, we've got a little tempering oven here, just an old Sunbeam toasting oven, which I have actually updated it with a PID controller. I found that these were a bit hit and miss trying to get the temperature right. I did have a thermocouple with a gauge in there on top, but it too hard to try and keep it at the correct temperature, and it was all over the place. So I've updated it with this PID. You can set it, that's the green is what you've set it to, and the red is what it's actually running at. So you can see it's like 2 degrees out, but it's kind of plus or minus 2 to 5 degrees either way. So which is a big improvement on the standard kind of dials and what called thermostatic switches and that kind of stuff. So I've actually got a little blade in there, just a leather working tool, which is being tempered now. It's on its first 2-hour cycle. So there we go. That's probably around about it for a guided tour of my huge workshop, which is not big, but it does exactly what I want it to. And to be honest, if I had a bigger workshop, you just fill it with more junk. So the fact that it is quite small, it sort of keeps the junk down to a bit of a minimum, which I've still got too much. Oh, one thing I got on the bench there is bevel grinding jig, and I use this for the Scandi grinds, just for the fact that you have to be pretty specific with a Scandi grind. Now I normally do mine to 26 degrees total, so 13 degrees each side, and the only way I think you can get exact 13 degrees each side is by using the bevel jig and then setting this with this screw, raising and lowering this screw to tilt the back or lower the back, which obviously alters this front angle. The only way to get it exact is by using the jig, and you possibly could do it freehand, but you'd be guessing that it's the right angle. And with Scandis, you've got to be pretty precise, and a lot of people want to know what degree if they're buying a knife, what degree the bevel is. So that way I know 13 per side, 26 total, and we're good to go. Yes, so certain grinds require a bevel jig. If you want it absolutely as spot on as you can get it, use a jig. Your hands, you do move around a little bit, especially if you haven't done it for a while and you get back on the grinder, and it takes a while to get back into the rhythm of it, of not moving. And so yeah, bevel jig saves you a lot of problems, especially with the Scandi grinds. Saber grinds, flat grinds, you can do them by hand. But even some of the sabers, I've actually used the bevel jig on those, and it just gives you that real clean, sort of almost done by a machine look. If that's what the look you're going for, where you want it really, really neat and equal, then use the bevel jig. Bit of advice. So that's about it really. There's not a lot else to sort of show really. The big changes: the outside of the building with the cladding, inside the Rockwell hardness tester, which I actually absolutely love. And what else was it? Oh, the electric kiln. Apart from that, everything is probably very similar, albeit a little bit more dusty and dirty than it was like when I did the first video. But yeah, apart from that, not a lot has changed. But just I'm older, more aches and pains, but that's just life really. So you have to just deal with it. But never mind. So anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, like and subscribe, and we've got to try and get those subscription numbers up, and then to get to a certain figure. If I can get to 500, then I'll definitely do like a giveaway of a knife. And I don't know how. I'd probably just have to do a random draw out of the 500 subscription names, and then yeah, someone will get a knife free of charge. So let's get to 500. So I think we're 408 at the moment, so we've got a fair old way to go, but you never know, we might get there. Anyway, thanks again, and I shall see you on the next video. Remember, like and subscribe, and stay safe. I shall see you soon. Cheers.